Okay, there we go. Okay. There we are. Okay. I'm gonna move my video aside. Okay, so a little about Telecom One background. Headquartered in Brookfield, Wisconsin. We were established in 1989, so we have over 32 years of experience. Privately held, diversified, debt-free telecommunications service provider. We are a nationwide provider of business network solutions. We offer next generation voice, data, private networking, including 100% in the cloud hosted communication system, SD-WAN and SIP solutions. Delivers extremely reliable, flexible solutions at competitive rates, provides personal local attention to each and every opportunity, pre-sale, during implementation, and post-support, including annual reviews, since technology is constantly changing. So our specialties are advanced toll-free applications for inbound call centers, and that's obviously the topic of today. An inbound call center can't afford to have their voice and toll-free down. Multi-network access, backbone diversity for business continuity on both our voice and data products. Ongoing technology change management for growth companies, meaning that, and I'll touch on this, with the annual reviews, if a new product set is better, we can talk through how to change from your current contracted setup to the new services that better meet your needs for the time. Because business environment is changing drastically, as we all learned in the last 2 years. And we offer a 100% cloud-based unified communication system, a hosted phone system. And I'm going to explain that not all hosted phone systems or VoIP systems are created equal, and many will not give you the business continuity that you need. So today's agenda. You'll learn how Telecom One has increased services and product offerings. We continue to do so as technology changes. And these products and services will help businesses save money, improve your communications, and you will have a single source to meet all of your telecom and data needs. We'll go over how to increase value for your current dollar spent and review ways to reduce current technology costs. How technology improvements can help during uncertain times. And Telecom One has been a trusted technology advisor for thousands of Midwest companies over the past 32 years. So takeaways: what's business continuity? How will it affect your business, and why partner with Telecom One? So first, there's two business continuities, right? Voice and data. So voice includes cloud-based unified system or hosted phone system. SIP, which is a voice transportation tool. Advanced toll-free applications. What is POTS in the box? We'll explain that. And how analog POTS lines are going away, and we have a solution to not only replace analog POTS lines, but to make them more redundant. And a cloud-based unified communication system, and how that is a business continuity tool. On the data side, we'll talk about internet access, possible wireless backup, and what is SD-WAN and how it can affect your business, whether you're single location, multi-location, and how it affects and works to have the business continuity that you need. So first we'll talk about SIP. So not all SIP providers are the same. All right. So here is our philosophy. All right. So number one, we own as much as it makes sense to. We're in 95%, we cover 95% of the US population on a direct network connection versus utilizing other people's and other networks. All right. So the less players in the mix, the better. Obviously, the 5% that we're not in, we do have to peer with other providers. But we're in, obviously, most the cities and large towns throughout the US. And we've built in redundant services in all of our network. So not just redundant data centers, but redundant routes. And then the next piece is we maximize one-hop connections. So this is unique compared to many SIP providers. And SIP is voice, basically voice over the internet. So you can imagine the more hops, the more steps that a voice call takes, the more chance of problems. On the data side of things, that's not as critical, right? Because the packets can be reorganized and put back together. But when we're talking a voice call, it's very important to have as few hops as possible. The next piece with SIP is that we built this from the ground up as all IP. There are many others that will use a combination of existing TDM networks, so old school phone connections within their SIP capacity. So we're not going to do that. It's 100% IP from beginning to end and all the way through, which allows us to have a 5.9 reliability, 99.999% core uptime. And along with the full IP network, it's also geographically redundant, as I mentioned before. The next piece is it's built for the cloud future. So as you'll see later in this presentation, the old analog and even PRIs, T1s, are going to be going away, either to a full fiber network, or you could use other ways for internet, and we could put our SIP over those other internet services. But the important thing is that since we're using all IP and we built it for the future, from the get-go, you'll be covered for whenever you get rid of those standard copper lines. Toll-frees are extremely important for inbound call centers. And we run our toll-free the same way that we run our outbound SIP lines, but also we're the direct carrier for the toll-free services. So we can control the calls for both redundancy and for network monitoring. So since we're in control, we can eliminate toll fraud. We can also route calls different ways. And so that, again, will have your business continuity lined up. We have
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Quickly summarize feature group D for me. I know it relates to toll-free. And then I've experienced our ability to directly control the termination, redirection, all of the database related adds, changes, tweaks in a very quick time frame. And I assume that relates to the direct control that you talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you contrast that to what a customer would run into for a typical competitor? What's the contrast to that they would
Yeah,
experience?
so I don't know exactly what our competitors do, but I can tell you that many of them will um, not have direct peering agreements. So they're basically buying from another carrier. Um, Maybe they're even buying wholesale, and they have a team on the wholesale side that they can contact if there's problems, right? But the problem can only be alleviated as fast as they can get a hold of their underlying carrier, okay? Where, since we're in control, we don't have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So in their case, they're going to go into some kind of a priority queue,
yes,
which will have varying, lengths of queued requests versus the ability to just process the request immediately on our
right.
side.
Well, and not only that, hopefully we can catch the problem before the client even notices it because it's on our network.
Okay. And so feature group D is just the label for toll-free trunking, right?
Uh, uh, yeah, it is, right? And what we'll do, similar to the previous slide where I was talking about the SIP is 100% IP, that's going to eliminate a lot of problems right there. And then because we've got the redundancy, we're in all the carrier hotels throughout the United States, and we can go out different routes with direct control.
Okay. I noticed in number 2 here, the redundancy says you've incorporated multi-carrier redundancy in all customer routing templates. I wasn't aware of that. I thought it was constructed customer by customer. That's pretty sweet.
That's new. We went
To
to
have that
this.
automatic.
We went to this provider. That was one reason we chose this provider over what we were doing before.
Yeah, that's nice, and it saves time and just offers automatic safety. I like that. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And
So
then 24/7 network monitoring. So that's all automatic from the
yeah,
the
it, it, and as you know, toll fraud is increasing more and more and more. So again, this has a lot to do with the fact that the whole network is monitored and 95% of it is owned. So it's easier to scan and detect than if we have to go through another party.
Mm-hmm. And I've had more than one customer, maybe a handful even, over time with some significant experience with that, and it's not fun.
It's not fun, and they're forced to pay the bill. So people don't realize that. They're used to this credit card lifestyle that we have, where if something is fraudulent on your credit card, you don't have to pay for it. But not in
Yeah.
the telecom world. If a hacker gets in to your system and makes calls, and you get a bill for $10,000 from any provider, whether it's us or anybody else, you are obligated to pay that bill. And that is something that I wish the U.S. federal government would fix, but they're not.
Yeah.
And so
I have
very
had a
important that you don't get
customer.
hacked.
I've had a customer that on a Friday evening through to Saturday morning rang off almost 80,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
And it was an error in how their PBX vendor, set up things. And
so
not
this
just
slide,
an error, but they didn't close all the doors. And
right. So this slide talks exactly about that, Jeff. Okay. So on the left, disaster recovery is your full responsibility. Okay. Capacity management, completely on you. You better know your system, how many calls are coming in, going out. Visibility, you're responsible for monitoring your own traffic. Problem detection is for your customers and you. Okay, and you have to manually open tickets. On our solution, we monitor, detect, and help mediate. Now, that's important, help mediate, right? Doesn't mean that we can make everything go away, but we'll help. And capacity management's on us. Okay, so for example, we're constantly watching if your trunks are filling up, if you need more capacity. We'll make sure that the calls are going through and getting to you as well if you've got toll free. And then we have visibility into all of the traffic. Let you know if there's any problems ahead of time and hopefully cut problems off at the pass. So these are just on the SIP trunks and the toll-free trunks that you get through us, just so you know. And then we have software and automation to help put in a trouble ticket. And this last piece called direct peering is really important. And it will talk about not only is this good for business continuity, but it'll save customers money as well. So the direct peering, we will share with other providers like Verizon, AT&T, Lumen, so that we can have a direct connection into their network when we need it. And I'll explain that in the next slide. Oh, I guess it's not there. I took it out. I'm sorry. So let me go back a little bit here. Shoot. Yeah, I found, okay, I need to put that in. Okay, so basically, yeah, I had a slide that was talking more about the direct peering benefits, but basically I'll end with the fact that it saves money because of the fact since we're such a large organization using this platform, when carriers like Verizon might need 1,000 lines, they'll give us those 1,000 lines without charging us, and we'll give them 1,000 lines without charging them. And it just keeps costs a lot more in check. Okay, I probably took that out because this is more on business continuity and that's just cost savings. POTS on demand, certainly business continuity is here. Okay, so plain old phone lines are going away, right? POTS lines, analog lines. There are some carriers that, like Windstream, that are getting rid of POTS lines December 31st this year. So if you have Windstream lines, you need to talk to us and see if we can't get you to another solution. Depends on what you're using those POTS lines for. We will advise you on the best solution, but one of them is this POTS on demand that will function for alarm lines and pass, pass the tests by the alarm companies. Elevators and even faxes work over this solution, and the cost is pretty effective. And it's an ongoing service. So right now, let's say you're with Windstream. You can today go to AT&T and buy a standard analog POTS line for $70 a month, but that might go away or that might increase in a year from now. So we would rather move you to a product that's ongoing and we control ourselves. Now, as far as business continuity, the reason I put this in here is because this service runs over the cellular network, which is much more secure than old school lines that are run to your, in the air or under the ground that could be cut or taken down. So just a quick, here's a quick picture. POTS on Demand replaces existing wireline and permits uninterrupted, fast and reliable bidirectional voice over the internet for call completion with a backup to the cellular. Okay, so now you have 2 connections versus 1. Okay, so any application or function that requires traditional wireline can work, as I mentioned, and the transmission includes the ability to have both cellular and internet-based for your 1, 2, 3, 4 POTS lines that you need. And the cellular will be more of your failover, okay, if the internet comes down, especially like in a power outage or something like that. So certainly business continuity.
So it'll send it via cellular or send it via SIP over the internet?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And you program which has priority, or it automatically prioritizes the cellular?
It automatically prioritizes the internet. And will go over cellular if the internet has a problem.
Okay. So automatic built-in backup versus, a one-path traditional POTS line that is, federally mandated to disappear. I don't even, have they pegged a date to that?
So let me clarify. There's no federal mandate to get rid of the POTS lines. This is how it's working. In 1997, the federal government passed the Telecom Act, which said to the carriers, you have to sell analog POTS lines at a cost plus, and they had to sell both to competitors and to their customers a fair price. And mainly, selling to competitors forced them to bring their prices down. Last year, the federal government said to the MABELs like Verizon, Lumen, AT&T, you no longer have to sell at a cost plus. You could sell to competitors at any price you want. So when they did that, some competitors said, they used to be paying maybe $20 per line. All of a sudden, they had to pay $50, $60, $70 a line. So they said, I'm not going to, be able to sell POTS lines to my customers for $70, $80, $90 a month. So I'm just going to get out of the business. Other companies have stayed in the business, but have significantly increased their rates. And they may decide to get out of the business altogether. So right now, you can still get analog POTS lines from MABEL if they choose. They don't have to provide it anymore. And the going rate for AT&T service POTS line today, if you ordered one today, is on a contract, a 1-year minimum contract, is $70 per line per month. If it's a month-to-month service, you're going to be paying well over $100 per line. So even if your current carrier doesn't have the December 31st deadline, you should start looking at a solution like this.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to, one of the things I'm working on is a set of funnel pages, website combo. I'd like to build a page on this, so let's talk about that in the future when I get ready to do that. I may borrow some of your graphics.
Yeah, we will be marketing it on our website, and you can tag off of that because right now we're contacting our customer base, but we also want to put it out there to anybody that hey, we're a provider for these services. And again, don't forget that this is an improvement over their services. Number one, it's going to keep your price in check for 3 years because you can sign for a 3-year agreement. Number two, it's a technology that is not going away. And number three, it's true business continuity. So in the past, you know, if you had one POTS line coming into your alarm system and something went wrong with that POTS line, your alarm system wouldn't work. Well, the odds of both the internet and the cellular having a problem simultaneously is pretty rare.
Yep.
Okay, so the next is we're moving to internet. Why is a lot of people use cable, and you know, cable works fine, the speeds are okay, but it's certainly not good for business continuity. So if you weren't aware, there's a lot of fiber network out there, 217,000 or more lit fiber buildings in America. You get a dedicated speed up and down, okay? So fiber compared to cable isn't a shared network. And along with that is a service level agreement. The service level agreement not only guarantees that, you know, not only prioritizes fiber over cable or any other connections, but guarantees a 4-hour commitment to restore. If that isn't maintained, they owe you money. So they're motivated to get the fiber circuit up and running. Cable doesn't come with that commitment. So that's called an SLA, service level agreement. All right, and it covers both equipment and the fiber. Most fiber, if it needs to be installed, we can install it at no cost, or we can roll the cost of some fiber extensions into the monthly if needed. You know, the speeds can be obviously very fast. But the biggest thing for today in business continuity is the fact that this comes with a service level agreement over other types of internet access. Okay, so one business continuity thing is just a failover. Okay, we're going to talk about other options on how to keep your internet up and running, but this is the cheapest solution. This is basically a Wi-Fi cellular backup, similar to what we were doing on the previous slide with the POTS lines. If your internet goes down, whether you're using cable or fiber or something else, this will kick in automatically. It's running in the background, and there would be a, you know, if you did just this as a backup, if your internet went down, say on your fiber connection, this would kick in a few seconds later, and you'd have to start new sessions, things like that, right? It's not running in conjunction to your current internet, but it's there, and it's auto backup. There's a lot of people right now that have 2 internet connections, but if one goes down, they have to call their IT team to get that second one, change the IP addresses, things like that. With our solution, this can be an automatic backup, okay? So again, business continuity. So let's talk more about the specific details. So again, we've got voice and data business continuity. First, on the voice side, we can put your phone system in the cloud, keeping it up 100% of the time. Even if your business goes down, we can direct calls to your cell phone or soft phones. We'll talk more about that. If you have a traditional phone system and you need trunking, again, we recommend you use our SIP. And you know, we touched on why our SIP is better than most, and that goes for toll-free applications as well. And then we touched on the POTS in the box, okay? And then we'll talk about different ways that the internet can have business continuity. Okay, so first is the phone system. Okay, 100% in the cloud is important, and not all phone systems are created the same. So here are the differentiators of a 100% in the cloud hosted phone system. All data is stored in the cloud. There's no personal information stored on the phone. Okay, many hosted providers, you'd be surprised how many, store a lot of information on your phone. So if you lose power, even though the brains of the phone system are in the cloud, you're going to lose some functionality, okay? The second thing is, sometimes phones become outdated if you're using this type of solution, if you don't have 100% in the cloud solution. And I've seen where people will buy a hosted solution from a provider, they'll have this phone, and the provider will say, oh, you know what? You know, thanks for being a customer of ours for the last 5 years, but we need to change your phones out and charge you for new phones that can store new intelligence and technology that we're adding to our hosted system. Okay, so that becomes expensive as well. The second thing is,
nice. Thank you very much for that.
Okay, and then the second thing is a smartphone app, not just to connect you to the phone system. So if your business goes down, your extension can ring to your cell phone or your laptop, but also the portal that we use is very easy, and you can download a portal on your smartphone. So let's say it's a snowstorm, you can't get into the office, and you want your auto attendant to answer the phones instead of it ringing 5 times and not go answered. You can easily change that if you're the admin and you've got the portal access on your smartphone. Certainly good for business continuity.
Yeah.
Security.
Or if you're like you in there right now on a trip and you can't get to your laptop and you need to do it by phone, the app is friendly enough and simple enough that you can actually do it and do it quickly versus, you know, spending an hour trying to do a 2-minute thing because it's so cumbersome on your smartphone.
I love it, Jeff. You're spot on, you know, and again, not all VoIP system providers are the same. And the reason I say VoIP is because the technology is VoIP, voice over IP, okay? You can get a traditional premise-based phone system that is VoIP and has these features, but since it's not in the cloud, if you lose power, you lose all your features. And then the other thing is it's clunky, and a lot of the systems don't allow portal access to be on somebody's laptop or cell phone like we do. So again, this seminar is about business continuity, and so the easier you can get into the system and the easier you can make changes, the faster your business can continue to run as it should. Okay, the next piece is security. You know, if you don't have a secure system, this could bring your business to a grinding halt. And our system is built on our own code, okay? We have a fairly large customer base, but nothing compared to some other providers. You can compare this to Microsoft versus Apple. Two reasons that Apple gets hacked less than Microsoft. First of all, the hackers are going to go after the bigger player, that's Microsoft for sure. They can do more damage than a bigger player. Secondly, since Microsoft is bigger, the hackers they can get more bang for their buck. Okay, so all of our signaling and call processing over the internet is encrypted. That protects you because 2 reasons. One, it's going to be harder for the hackers to get to us and almost impossible to get to our end customers. And then you touched on it. The features are easy no matter which site the end user is located. Software deployment are pushed out automatically. Again, it's 100% in the cloud. The phones and the soft phones are dumb terminals. And again, the award-winning portal, easy to use. If you forget how to do something, there's a YouTube video on every single feature. There's a YouTube video. So if you don't want to read, you can watch the video. So again, huge on keeping your business up and running smoothly. So the Office Suite system uses a a unique, we touched on that, all in the cloud. This improves, because the features are easy to use, like find me, follow me, or call twinning, where if you want call twinning to be turned on, you can have multiple phones ring simultaneously, and you can answer the call from your cell phone, from your laptop, or your desk phone. And if you don't pick it up, it goes to your phone system voicemail. If you get a voicemail, it is transcribed and sent to your email, and you can either listen to it or read it. So that's certainly going to increase employee productivity. Everything is unified between multiple sites. So if you want to go to a new site and log in as a user at that site, your phone will pop up. And you can, since you can work on any device, you can work anywhere, which is awesome during these, who knows if we're going to go into lockdown again or not, but you'll be ready if we do. Okay, so just a quick review. How is Office Suite unique? 100% cloud-based system, unlike others. A very easy to use portal, meaning that you'll use your features, so you get all the benefits that you were sold with, but you're not being able to use because they're clunky. All the latest releases done in the cloud. We're a more secure system, meaning more uptime, less problems, less costs. We have features that not everybody has. We've got that mobile app. We've got SMS texting. So if somebody, if you call out on the traditional landline today and you don't have our system, and somebody tries to text you back, that text is lost, right? With our system, the company would get the text. We could do call recording. We could do HD meeting, which we're using right now, which is a video conferencing, which is very similar to Zoom, except that we're encrypted. And we're HIPAA compliant and PCI compliant. And anything that you put HD meeting on, whether it's your smartphone, your laptop, all of your contacts are there. So if you use Zoom right now and you don't know somebody's email, you have to type it in, you have to get somebody's email, it's a pain in the butt. Also, our system has call center built into it. You pay a little extra charge if you want call center features, but it's there. It's not a third party, and it's sitting in the background anytime you want it. I've got clients that said, hey, Andrew, I'm doing I need 4 call center seats for 3 months. Boom, turn those features on. After 3 months, turn them off. Okay, many other systems would not allow you to do that. You'd have to buy a third-party call center and sign up for a contract, and it may or may not work really well in conjunction with your current phone system. The next advantage is you can use Polycom or Mitel phones. I highly suggest Mitel phones. We're the only provider in the world that uses Mitel phones outside of Mitel Direct. I like the Mitel phones. They're the only company that has a cordless handset, great for a receptionist to walk around. And also the Mitel phones have a lot better features and functionality than a Polycom phone that was designed to, meet everybody's needs. You can see how clean this phone looks, one-touch transfers. Mitel's been making phones for decades. It's just a cleaner, better phone than a standard Polycom or Yeeling phone.
How's the speakerphone?
Excellent. Again, Mitel is a phone company first, right? All these other players, they created a background system and then said, okay, now we got to make it work on a Polycom phone or something like that. So Mitel and Avaya, I think, are the 2 most superior phones on the market today. They've both been making phones for decades. So the quality and functionality is far superior to anything out there. Our system is certainly less cost than any that I've seen so far. I will take that challenge. And lastly, it's easy to use. If something's not easy to use, you're not going to use all the features and you're not going to get all the benefits. The Office Suite summary, first of all, it's put in nationally diversified data centers. huge for business continuity, right? You could be with a provider that you like, but if they're only in 2 or 3 data centers, and those data centers are maybe all in the Midwest, you could have problems. I've seen some providers that will have backup on only 1 data center. So how redundant is the system? We're 100% in the cloud, unlike many others. We own the code, so it's more secure, and we use the Mitel phones. Cost advantages is we design it with you, okay? First of all, we have 1 seat type that includes most of the features. We have a second seat type that, that you could go with, and it has 99% of the features, and you can do a la carte, like SMS texting, call recording, soft phones, okay? So technically, we only have 1 seat. One comes with all the features, the other one is a little less expensive, and you can get a la carte features, mostly at $1 a piece. And then we work with the customer to design the system versus saying, oh, you know, how many phones do you have? This is the price. How many extensions do you have? This is the price. I just sold a system where they needed some conference phones. I didn't sell them any seats because our system allows you to have multiple logins. When they go to the conference room to use the conference phone, they can use any one of the other extensions to call out on that conference phone. So absolutely no charge. So we work with the customer to help design it specific to their needs. Telecom One advantage is, number 1, we'll do a free network assessment. It's a $250 value. It runs on your PC for a week. If you don't have a current hosted system or you haven't been happy with your hosted system, we'll run the network assessment test first. Make sure that everything in your network is going well. Again, business continuity we're thinking about. So we can install the system, but if there's holes in your network, there could be problems with the installation, with the turn up. We want to make sure that those problems are alleviated before we install. And we do hands-on install and training on the hosted system. So we work with you ahead of time, make sure you're comfortable with the portal. That alleviates a learning curve and alleviates problems when the install actually happens. All right, the next part of the presentation is talking about data, redundancy, and business continuity, and how your internet can stay running. You might have heard of SD-WAN. A lot of providers are selling it, but they're not all the same. They're not. There's 2 types of SD-WAN. I wish they had 2 different names, and they don't. But we'll go over the product that we have, and we'll compare it to some of the other products. All right. So number 1, SD-WAN stands for Software Defined Wide Area Network. Because the wide area network is in the name, people think this is a product for people that have multiple locations. It is. And it does a much better job at connecting multiple locations than point-to-points or VPNs or MPLS. But it's really, really great for single locations because of business continuity. So what we're doing, different from others, is we combine 2 to 4 internet circuits together, okay? And unlike others, because these 2 circuits are combined and aggregated together, in the event that one circuit goes down, the other circuit keeps all voice and internet traffic going up and will not drop phone calls or data connections. Let's say you were a bank and you had a video monitoring system, and you had a competitor's SD-WAN product that has 2 circuits coming in, but one circuit's primary and the second circuit is only used if the primary goes down. There's about a 5 to 20 second gap before that second circuit comes up. You could totally have missed the robber's face because of that. If you're on a phone call, you're definitely going to lose that phone call. With our solution, that's not going to happen. The second thing is that we can prioritize business critical applications over non-critical apps. So in the event that the internet is slow that day, let's say you have a remote location that is using cable or something, we can prioritize business apps over Facebook or Netflix or something like that, all the way to the end user. And you have a portal that's really easy to manage and see all your end users. Lastly, it is a very, very good WAN product. Whereas MPLS segregates a certain amount of bandwidth to go between one location and the other. So let's say you've got two 50 meg circuits. If you want a connection between the two, you have to decide what your speed is. So you go, well, I need 10 meg between the two sites. Well, then you're left with 40 meg for internet access at each site and 10 meg between the two sites. The greatness about SD-WAN is it uses full bandwidth for site-to-site transfer and full bandwidth for internet. So both locations would have the 50 meg internet and 50 meg transport. And here's a picture of what I just explained. So you have an edge device, and you've got two internet connections. In this picture, you've got fixed wireless coming in, and you've got fiber coming in. And you can see how it's redundant. So this is why your voice call won't go down, because both devices have both internet connections. Pretty simple. Okay, so to review, we partnered with a company called VeloCloud that helps us build our SD-WAN infrastructure. They're the largest player for SD-WAN in the world. We manage the entire SD-WAN network. The equipment, the portal. The only thing that we wouldn't manage is if you didn't get the internet from us, right? We're an internet provider. We can sell you cable and fiber at one location. We can sell you wireless and cable at another connection, and we can control all of that. But certainly we'll work with your current internet providers if you choose to go that way. This is a fully managed solution. We've done all the work. You don't need to look elsewhere. We will keep it cost effective because we're going to look at what speed is needed at each location. I'll give you a real world example. I had a school that had a 20 meg fiber circuit at the elementary school and a 50 meg fiber circuit at the high school. And the principal called me up and said, Andrew, we need more bandwidth at the elementary school. And I looked and I saw that they had an MPLS. And they had 10 meg between the high school and the grade school. And I said, well, do you realize that the elementary school only has 10 meg of internet access? They said, oh, wow. Well, can you increase the fiber to 50 meg at the elementary school, please? I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Instead, the money that you're going to spend on increasing the 20 meg fiber, I'm going to sell you an SD-WAN product with cable. So the cable was like $100 a month for 100 by 10. They already had the 20 by 20. The SD-WAN box, I set at 50 meg, keeping the price at around under $150. So you got the cable at $100, the SD-WAN at $150. So that's about a $250 uptick in charge, but it was about $250 to go from 20 meg to 50 meg anyway. So now what I'm doing at the grade school is I went from 10 meg of internet to 50 meg of internet down and 30 internet meg up because the device is 50 meg. And I did 50 meg of transport between the two schools, and they previously had only 10 meg. And then at the high school, I put in the same solution on that side as well. And so that gave them the business continuity product, right, that I showed in the previous screen, okay? 2 internet connections at each school and much increased bandwidth for about the same price as simply paying more money to one provider to increase their fiber. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So the other thing is we can do all of this, and a lot of times readjust what you're spending. Like the school, they're going to pay about the same amount of money. We didn't really save them any money, but we gave them a much better solution. But in this case, I had a customer with 3 locations, and I was able to give them a brand new hosted phone system with all the bells and whistles that we talked about, increasing their business continuity. I gave them SD-WAN for the 3 locations, increasing their wide area network security and speed between the 3 locations, and increased their internet speeds, plus gave them 2 internet connections at each location. They had 3 providers, they had 12 bills, and they didn't even know what they were paying for. They were making huge mistakes they kept re-signing with their old providers, 3-year contracts, because the sales rep would say, hey, you're out of contract, your price is going to go up. They didn't know how to read their bills. They had 2 locations that weren't even part of their company anymore, that they were paying the bills on. When I got there, they just signed 1 month prior to a 3-year contract, which caused them $12,000 in fees. But since I saved them about $30,000 a year, it was worth paying that early termination fee. So what I did was I came in, I looked at everything and built a spreadsheet, and our experts at Telecom One were able to figure out a better solution at less cost. So it went from 3 providers, 12 bills, not knowing what they had, 1 internet access at each location, a standard phone system with no support. It was a system that was no longer supported. They were paying $7,600 a month, and if they left, they'd have to pay $12,000 penalty. We cleaned things up, improved technology, and found $160,000 savings over 5 years. So again, 3 providers to 1 provider. Confusing, clear understanding of all the products with no fear of price increases. They had multiple contracts, 1 agreement with us. 1 internet at each location and slow, 2 connections, and adding speed and redundancy. No business continuity plan. We added the SD-WAN and 100% in the cloud phone system. No management of the wide area network. I explained, you get the portal and you can see what traffic is being used, and you can prioritize traffic. Standard phone system with no support and no features, right? There was no voicemail to email. There was no connecting to cell phones. There was no soft phones. We got them all of that. We reduced their monthly bill to $4,683. So with the penalty, the first year they saved almost $23,000, but after that they saved $35,000 a year. And this is what they said. At the beginning of the project, Mike Kay, Assistant Vice President, tells me that we would ask each other, him and his IT guy, what was the catch? I'm glad to see that there wasn't one. Kudos to you and your team. It was a bit of a long road and quite a bit of back and forth, not only between us, but our current vendor before we got started. Once the ball was rolling though, everything went about as quickly and seamlessly as we could have hoped for, considering all the moving pieces to this project. I'll keep my ears open on anyone else that could use you, and I will definitely recommend you. So we do what we say we're going to do after we do a free assessment and review of your business continuity needs and technology needs. We offer local support in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Mark, Jenny, Monica, myself, Bill, the owner. That's what's great about Telecom One. We're a national provider with local support, and our call center is 24/7 on the East Coast. US based. We do have a guy in the call center with an accent, but he's from New Zealand, and so it's a nice accent. And also, I just wanted to give you, part of business continuity is your IT structure and support, and we work with a lot of different IT firms. And one of the IT firms that we work with sent me this slide. Talking about business continuity requires planning in advance for disasters, large and small. The news is full of examples of where ransomware and hacking have taken business offline, and the difference between an inconvenience outage and disastrous outage is planning. Bad guys must only be right one time to hack your system and take you down. The good guys have to be right all the time to protect their systems and data. So this IT firm says cybersecurity preparedness looks different for every business. What's right for some is overkill for others. So again, Telecom One prides itself as being a trusted advisor, right? Just like we showed you that we've got the SIP trunks, we've got the POTS in the box, we've got the hosted phone system, we've got different internet options. We'll work with your current vendors. We're going to make sure that we right size the right solution for every individual business. So continuing on, this data backup needs to be business class. Okay, so this is something that one of our vendors can provide for your IT support, right? So Telecom One is not an IT firm. We do internet access, wide area network connectivity, voice services, and a voice phone system. But we can put you in touch with this vendor. So he ends by running a business computer network is more dangerous every day. Bad guys are increasingly organized and using tools that are not simply traditional virus and malware. They're using built-in utilities on your computers to execute hacking attacks. So there are new tools out there that are better at detecting hacking attempts than some of your old traditional firewalls. And so I highly suggest that you ask us who our vendors that we trust and use are, and we can recommend them and get them to you. So we do custom design solutions versus one size fits all. We offer local support prior, during, and after the sale. We have more than 32 years of experience. We take a team approach, navigating confusing products, confusing bills, binding contracts, and then we design the best and correct solutions, and we deliver them at the best prices while helping implement it to the new your business organization to the new services. So we want to work hard to become your trusted advisor. We're going to work with you annually to review the services and what business changes might have come along the way, not just technology changes, but your business might be changing. And we can navigate you to new services without penalties. And we back it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Our paperwork is simple and concise. You have peace of mind because customer agreements can easily be reviewed and negotiated to meet demands of changing business environments that we just discussed. We are a full service provider. Internet, SIP, wide area network, 4G wireless, hosted phones, all designed, installed, and supported locally and billed under one bill. It's really important. A lot of times, a phone system provider doesn't know anything about the internet. Internet provider doesn't know anything about the phone system. They're not talking to an organization about their CRM tools and their cloud services. So it's very important to work with us, whether you go with some of our products or all of our products. So let us know about your entire environment, and we'll make sure we ask you those important questions before we design any solution for you. We have a US-based call center, and we have an experienced team that will take the time to review your current environment, provide better solutions, and help you navigate to those better solutions and best utilize the dollars spent, and many times reducing costs. So we are a Wisconsin-based company that is teamed with best-in-class national and international providers to meet your technology and budget needs. And all this ties into business continuity. Again, because we think of ourselves as an advisor, part of your team, and we understand all the moving parts, you're going to have less outages, you're going to have less install problems, you're going to have less surprises. And you're going to have all of your choices, right? Whether you go with cable or fiber or wireless, we're going to cover all those bases. And the best thing is we're locally based and responsive to your needs and concerns and problems. You know, it's technology. We have storms. In Wisconsin, we had a lot of storms in July and August. And if you were a Spectrum client, your services went down and they were sketchy, especially cable services. But also, if you had a Wi-Fi backup with Spectrum, that Wi-Fi goes to Verizon, and Verizon uses Spectrum. So even the Wi-Fi wasn't working. So I'm not bashing Spectrum at all. I'm just saying we know these things, right? So we would never sell you a Spectrum circuit and Spectrum Wi-Fi as a backup because you're still on the same network, right? So we're going to look at what you have. We're going to design the best carriers and the best solutions for your business continuity needs. Now you might say, you might be a business that says, look, I want some business continuity, but I want to save money. If I'm down for a few hours, I'm okay. Well then, maybe we go with Spectrum Fiber and Spectrum Coax, right? Or we go with our own products, or but we talk to you about it, and you know the details before making a decision. So the next steps would be to set up a meeting via phone or in person, determine how we can best partner, possibly do a network assessment. It'll run on a PC in the background for $250. It'll uncover some holes that you might have in your network, internally and externally. We could do a demo of the hosted phone system. Takes about an hour. You'll see how the portal works and see all the bells and whistles. And then, are you utilizing any type of redundant internet, like an SD-WAN product or 4G at your current office? So again, our main goal is to become a trusted advisor, not just one-time salesperson to sell you something and move on. We have clients who've been with us for over 20 years, and some clients have said, we've never had an outage. We've never had our service go down. So thank you, and they continue to work with us and upgrade their services, change their services as technology changes and as their needs change. So thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday and weekend.
Can you hang around a minute?
Yep, hang on just a second. How do I don't know if I can stop recording. So, okay. Oh, Mickey, you joined us. Hello. All right. So yeah, I've got time for questions. Shoot.
Can I get a copy of that slide deck once you finalize it?
Yes. Yes.
What's the satisfaction guarantee?
So what we do is we offer a 90-day satisfaction guarantee on the products that we deliver directly. So we install it. We have an opportunity to fix any problems that you might be having with it for 90 days. But if it's still not working as promised, you can get out of any agreement that you signed with us.
Okay. That's it for general questions. I've got a question specific to me.
Okay, let's take that offline then.
Yeah, I want to take it offline, but I'd like to cover it right after this if you have time.
Sure. Monica, any questions? Or Mickey, any questions?
No. I asked you for the slides too. I sent you a text.
Mickey, I cannot hear you if you're talking.
Yes, I am. And let's see here.
I could hear him, but it was very low.
Yeah, I'm here. I turned off the mute.
Oh, there we are. You sound great now.
Yeah, I turned off the mute before I was talking.
Okay, I can hear you loud and clear. I don't know what happened there.
Okay. Yeah, I sent you a text and asked for the slides too.
Oh, good. Okay, I will send that. Hopefully you enjoyed the webinar, and hopefully it'll help you drum up more clients and be more knowledgeable. I'll send the slides, and then of course, you know, we can talk about any specific questions you might have.
You bet.